I'd imagine a world where a simple scratch could lead to your demise. That was the reality before the 20th century, a time when antibiotics were yet to make their grand entrance into the world of medicine. Picture a world where the most minor of infections could snowball into a life-threatening situation, where an innocent scrape or a casual cut could spell doom. In this pre-antibiotic era, infections were the grim reapers. The simplest of surgeries were high-stakes gambles, with post-operative infections lurking like silent predators. Pneumonia, tuberculosis, blood poisoning. These were not just illnesses, they were death sentences. Childbirth was a game of Russian roulette, with both mother and child at the mercy of potential infections. Indeed, bacterial infections were the unchallenged tyrants of the medical world. They held the power to transform minor wounds into festering sores, to turn common diseases into debilitating conditions. They reigned supreme, with humanity left to fight them with a meager arsenal of ineffective treatments. The world was in desperate need of a solution, a weapon to combat these microscopic invaders, a tool to turn the tide in this ongoing war against bacteria. Doctors and scientists were clamoring for a breakthrough, a beacon of hope in the face of this bacterial onslaught. And then, in the year 1928, amid the gloom and despair, a ray of hope emerged. A Scottish scientist, working quietly in his laboratory, stumbled upon something extraordinary. This was not just a discovery, but a revolution waiting to happen, a spark that would ignite a transformation in the world of medicine. And so, on this tumultuous backdrop, the stage was set for a discovery that would change the course of medicine. A discovery that would usher in a new era, an era of antibiotics, and forever alter our fight against bacterial infections. In this dire landscape, the stage was set for a discovery that would change the course of medicine. In 1928, a fortunate accident in a London laboratory would spark a revolution. Alexander Fleming, a Scottish bacteriologist, returned from a 2-week vacation to find a certain petri dish overrun by mold. This wasn't an uncommon sight, but something about this particular dish caught Fleming's eye. The dish had been filled with Staphylococcus bacteria, notorious for causing a multitude of infections. However, the invading mold, a type known as Penicillium notatum, seemed to be holding these bacteria at bay. The area surrounding the mold was clear, devoid of any bacterial growth. Intrigued, Fleming decided to investigate. He cultured the mold in a pure form and found that it produced a substance capable of killing a wide range of bacteria. Fleming had stumbled upon the world's first antibiotic, which he named Penicillin, after the mold that produced it. Yet it wasn't all smooth sailing. Fleming faced numerous challenges in his quest to harness the potential of this mold juice. Despite its bacteria-killing properties, penicillin was unstable and difficult to produce in large quantities. It seemed like Fleming's miraculous discovery might remain just that, a discovery. Fleming's accidental finding was a breakthrough, but it was only the first step in a long journey. Penicillin was still far from being the life-saving drug we know today. The world had its first antibiotic, but it would take more time and effort to turn this unstable mold juice into a practical medicine. But penicillin was yet to become the miracle drug the world needed. Turning a lab discovery into a life-saving drug is no small feat. Just ask Howard Florey and Ernst Boris Chain, the two scientists who took up the baton from Alexander Fleming. They were the ones who transformed the penicillin mold into a practical, mass-produced drug. It was a race against time, a race that had the shadow of World War II looming large over it. Imagine the world in the early 40s. The globe was in turmoil and soldiers were fighting in the trenches, often in unsanitary conditions. Wounds were prone to infection and many lives were lost, not to the enemy's bullets, but to the invisible enemy. Bacteria. This is where Florey and Chain stepped in. They knew they had a possible solution in Fleming's penicillin. But the challenge was daunting. How do you turn a lab curiosity into a drug that can be produced quickly, efficiently, and in large quantities? That was the puzzle Florey and Chain had to solve. They began by extracting penicillin from the mold, a painstaking process that required both precision and patience. But they didn't stop there. They also had to figure out how to purify it to ensure it could be safely administered to patients. They then developed a method to mass-produce the drug, turning their laboratory into a veritable factory. The first tests were promising. Penicillin was saving lives. It was as if a miracle had descended upon the battlefields. Wounded soldiers, once on the brink of death, were now recovering. Infections that were once a death sentence were now treatable. The world had its first true antibiotic, but the real test was yet to come. Could they produce enough to meet the demand? The answer was a resounding yes. By the end of the war, penicillin was being produced on an industrial scale, saving countless lives, not just on the battlefield, but also in hospitals around the world. Penicillin had arrived, and medicine would never be the same again. The world had witnessed a revolution, a transformation from lab curiosity to lifesaver, and all thanks to the dedication, hard work, and ingenuity of scientists like Flore and Chain. With the dawn of the antibiotic era, the impossible became possible. The world saw a revolution in medicine unlike any before. The miracle drug penicillin, once a humble mold, became the harbinger of this new age. Its impact was profound and far-reaching, reshaping the very core of medical science. For the first time in human history, doctors had a reliable weapon against bacterial infections. Diseases that were once death sentences were now treatable. Pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, diphtheria, scarlet fever, the list goes on. All these infections, which had claimed countless lives, were now within our control. The age of antibiotics also transformed surgeries. The risk of infection was once the greatest fear in any surgical procedure. But with penicillin and its successors, surgeons could operate with a new level of confidence. Complex procedures became feasible, and the success rates of surgeries skyrocketed. And let's not forget the impact on life expectancy. In the early 20th century, the average lifespan was around 50 years. Fast forward to today, and it's closer to 80, thanks in large part to antibiotics. But this new age didn't just bring miracles, it brought a shift in our understanding of health and disease, showing us that even the smallest organisms can have the greatest impact. However, every medical breakthrough comes with its challenges. The wonder drug of the 20th century is now in a race against time. As the miracles of penicillin became commonplace, bacteria began to fight back, developing resistance to the antibiotic. This led to an ongoing battle, a race against time, to develop new antibiotics to stay one step ahead of these evolving microbes. Despite these challenges, the legacy of penicillin continues to permeate modern medicine. It set a precedent for the discovery of new antibiotics, shaping the way we fight infections and diseases. The ripple effect of penicillin's discovery extends beyond just medicine. It revolutionized the way we think about health and disease, paving the way for a future where minor ailments are no longer death sentences. It's a story of triumph, of the relentless pursuit of knowledge, and the accidental discoveries that changed the world. The story of penicillin is a testament to the power of scientific research and serendipity. As we stand on the brink of a post-antibiotic era, it's important to consider a future without penicillin. The prospect is daunting, a return to an era where minor infections can become deadly. But it's not all doom and gloom. Scientists worldwide are tirelessly working on new ways to combat bacterial infections, from exploring the depths of the ocean to the farthest reaches of space in search of new antibiotics. There's also a renewed focus on prevention over cure, emphasizing the importance of hygiene, vaccination, and overall health to keep infections at bay. The legacy of penicillin is not just in the drug itself, but in the spirit of innovation and discovery it embodies. It's this spirit that will guide us into the future, where we hope to continue the fight against bacterial infections, with or without penicillin. Join us on this journey of discovery and growth, as we continue to bring you fascinating stories from the world of science. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for updates. Thanks for watching.